We are keeping an eye on the market after the Dow tumbled more than 700 points yesterday amid concerns of a COVID flare-up due to the Delta variant. So Weijia Jiang is joining me now with more on how the White House is responding. Because, Weijia, here's the thing, the Dow tumbles, but right before that, the conversation we have all been having is about inflation, the price of gas, the price of groceries. You can't buy a house, you can't buy a used car. Like, we're just seeing these prices tick up higher and higher and higher. But the president is saying, don't worry. Inflation is not a concern. What is the president saying to ease the feeling out there that things are going to start to get very expensive?
So President Biden has acknowledged that the prices are going up because that's undeniable. The numbers are there. But he insists that he believes, based on the data that he has seen from his economic team, that it is temporary. And he explains it by saying, look, we're having an economic boom. He says the economy is roaring back because more and more people are getting vaccinated and things are opening back up. And so this is more of a supply and demand issue. But you have Republicans saying that's not the case. They are blaming the administration, saying that the government is spending way too much money, and that's why the prices are being offset. And so they are criticizing the president and the administration for various different proposals, especially ones that even haven't been passed yet, but specifically a $3.5 trillion plan for so-called human infrastructure that is supposed to help rebuild the economy. So they are using that as an argument. They're pointing to inflation and saying that's only going to get worse if we go ahead and spend more money. Now, when you talk to different financial analysts, they are being cautious and they tend to agree that this is temporary, and they are optimistic that within a few months, perhaps by 2022, things will stabilize and get back to normal because, again, we are reopening the economy after the worst of the pandemic, hopefully. And perhaps one more sign is that the Federal Reserve Chair had a conversation with the president recently and said that so far officials are not prepared to make any moves to offset the inflation, which would be, for example, changing the interest rates.
So you brought up infrastructure, you brought up the human infrastructure, but the other kind of infrastructure is also part of the president's plan to get this country back to work. The bipartisan infrastructure bill, this is the one that a bipartisan group of senators has been working on. It's expected to go to the Senate floor for debate on Wednesday. The president made another pitch for his proposal during his remarks on the economy at the White House yesterday. What was his plea to lawmakers?
Well, his message was that, look, guys, we've already agreed to this. We've already shaken hands on this. It's a done deal. You just have to work it out. So, he is pushing them to move forward with this bipartisan deal. However, the problem is some of those Republicans who have signed on are saying that they want to see the text of the legislation first, that they don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. And so they are waiting and they're pulling back, which really could be a problem because there are only so many Republicans who can bow out for this bill to stay alive, to move forward, because it's simple math and they need at least 10 Republicans to sign on. And if they don't have that number, then it is going to be stalled, perhaps until after recess. And so that's why the president is reminding these lawmakers that they already agreed to this framework and they can fill it in together later. But we'll see tomorrow whether it really hits a roadblock because a vote whether to move forward procedurally is set for tomorrow.
So the president is marking 6 months in office with a cabinet meeting today. What do we expect to hear from him? What will he highlight to mark his 6-month checkup, if you will?
Well, this is really that, Anne-Marie. It's a checkup with his cabinet members to talk about the status of what they have done. Certainly, you can imagine they will be talking about the COVID-19 as well as the economy. And we know from a senior administration official, they'll also have a conversation about those cyber hacks and about China's role. We don't expect any big announcements, but just yesterday we know that the president rallied several partners and allies to take a firm stance against China, even though the U.S. has not imposed sanctions yet to retaliate for those attacks. So that will be on the agenda as well. But really, it's an opportunity for all of those closest advisors around the president to come together and to take a status check to see how he's doing 6 months in.
Listen, before we let you go, of course, as you know, throughout the entire morning, we've all been sitting here watching Blue Origin's successful launch and landing with Jeff Bezos and 3 others on board. I'm wondering what was going on in the White House. Were they watching in the White House as well?
So I was just checking my phone to see if I got an update because we were wondering whether the president watched the takeoff, and we don't have anything to report yet, but we do know he is really busy. As we've already talked about, he's getting ready for a cabinet meeting, and so there really hasn't been a lot of buzz around this, but I'm sure that the press secretary will have more to say when she briefs in a little bit. Perhaps the president will make a comment about it when he hosts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here in just a little bit. We don't know yet whether Tom Brady's going to be here. I hear that that's something that many people are interested in. So we'll keep you posted on that as well, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, I think some people might be interested. Cabinet meetings, infrastructure. I guess he's got a lot going on. He can catch the rerun of the space launch. Weijia Jiang, thank you so much.
Sure, thanks.